By 1986, creature effects were in and gory, slasher-style kills were out, for the most part. The MPAA had been coming down hard on body count films anyway, so movie producers adapted and gave audiences what they wanted, and what the censors were willing to tolerate. Another strong year overall, 1986 continues the mostly fun-focused tone of 1980s horror, while also introducing an underbelly of darker psychological horror in the form of several particularly uncompromising serial killer movies. And with that, as we truck along with our year-by-year breakdown, we present to you the 10 best horror movies of 1986. Over 10 years after making the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Tobe Hooper returns to his deranged family of reclusive cannibals for another round of chainsaw chases and non-stop screaming. Hooper brings a real budget this time, having recently directed Poltergeist for Steven Spielberg, and the talents of veteran makeup artist Tom Savini. This means he can make things bigger, louder, and gorier than ever before. And they are. He also brings a wacky, self-deprecating sense of humor, as if deliberately flaunting Texas Chainsaw Massacre's status as one of the first and still greatest films of its kind. The result is an impish takeoff on the original film, and contemporary horror movies in general, which elevates its own cliches, buckets of blood and gore, droll dialogue, the screaming female lead, to the level of high camp. It's a strange, sweaty, uncomfortable mix of horror and humor, and it's completely brilliant. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. "1984's Gremlins can be blamed for a trend in horror movies that ran rampant throughout the late 80s and early 90s. We are, of course, speaking of the little killer monsters subgenre. You have your Munchies, your Ghoulies, your Hobgoblins, and to a lesser extent, the Troll franchise. But the most highly revered of all the Gremlins knockoffs will forever be the Critters series. Probably the best thing to come from New Line Cinema since their Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, Critters is just good fun, plain and simple. In the film, a group of small but vicious alien creatures escape from an alien prison transport vessel and land near a small farm town on Earth, pursued by two shape-shifting bounty hunters. Things get crazy. By the time this sixth entry of the Friday the 13th series came around, filmmakers were pretty much out of ideas on how to bring Jason back and have him kill some more. He had been hit by a car, stabbed, and even taken an axe to the head, and he just kept on coming back. The solution? Well, this is the film where Jason became a certified zombie, literally rising from the dead out of the grave to cause havoc. After A New Beginning, it was just nice to have the actual Jason back in the mix, zombie or not. Overall, this is one of the better installments of the series.
I promise. Go. Lie down. Stay there.
What do you think?
I think we're dead meat.
A troubled writer moves into a haunted house after inheriting it from his aunt. You could probably guess where this is going. House is a marvelous excursion in the world of horror comedy and is a masterclass in combining humor, drama, and frightfully good scares. The movie borrows from all the right places, including Edgar Allan Poe's Telltale Heart and Sam Raimi's Evil Dead. It's great. Alien brain parasites entering humans through the mouth turn their host into killer, slow-moving cadavers. The best thing about Night of the Creeps is that it loves the fact that it's a B-movie. Even more, it's quite clear that this is a B-movie that actually strives to be the best B-movie it could be. Within about the first 10 minutes, we've got space invaders, zombie-like creatures, and an axe-wielding maniac. They waste no time in checking all the boxes. Night of the Creeps is a fantastic movie that pays respect to its influences that came years before it and has that 80s charm we all love so much.
I got good news and bad news, girls. The good news is your dates are here.
What's the bad news?
They're dead.
A group of scientists have developed a machine which allows whoever is within range to see beyond normal perceptual reality. But when the experiment succeeds, they are immediately attacked by terrible life forms. The Team Beyond Reanimator offers us another grisly scientist horror flick based on another H.P. Lovecraft tale. And what can we say? This is one messed up movie. From Beyond is one of those rare films that manages to both work on a metaphorical level and as pure entertainment. By translating Lovecraft's brand of horror into real-world terms, director Stuart Gordon manages to once again strike gold with a subject that is frequently a minefield of unwatchably awful films. A young man who escapes the clutches of a murderous hitchhiker is subsequently stalked by the Hitcher and framed for his crimes. How great is the Hitcher? Well, Roger Ebert gave it 0 stars and called it diseased and corrupt. That's how great it is. It's definitely one for the books. A thriller with brains, an action flick with soul, a horror film with purpose, sporting a captivating baddie to boot. Engagingly vague, razor-directed, well-acted, and heavy on the suspense, it's one of those rare genre films that simply works on every level.
Because I cut off his legs. And his arms. And his head. And I'm gonna do the same to you.
Although it underperformed with audiences and critics upon its release in August 1986, the cult of Michael Mann's clinically stylish serial killer procedural, Manhunter, has grown steadily over the years. Its status as the first Hannibal Lecter movie has also helped secure its place in cinema history. Manhunter's acolytes fetishize it for its meticulousness and painstaking detail to color and composition. Each is carefully calibrated to the emotional needs of a seed. Distinguishedly worthy and stylish, Manhunter is a slick and glossy chiller that still holds his ground extremely well. Despite its eye-grabbing title, Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, it's not really about a killer, but about killing. The way killing is depicted in the movies and the way movie audiences have been conditioned to react to such violence. Henry doesn't so much entertain as it shines a light on deep perversions couched in normality. In a world in which nearly 8 identical Friday the 13th movies offer the adventures of Jason the Axe Murderer as entertainment for teenagers, maybe we needed a sobering alternative.
I'd still like to kill him though.
I bet you would.
I'd like to kill somebody.
Say that again.
I'd like to kill somebody.
Must mean you go for a ride, Otis.
The original 1958 version of The Fly was a great drive-in movie, a product of its humble time that features some dated yet still effective creature makeup and an overall lightness. It's fun, not frightening. David Cronenberg's 1986 remake, however, is unquestionably the latter. Cronenberg took the driving force behind the tale, the nightmare of a man slowly turning into an insect, and squeezed gore out of every possible orifice, all before turning our protagonist, Seth Brundle, into an extremely hideous specimen of practical makeup effects. More importantly, Cronenberg's The Fly skillfully invests time and emotion into its characters. As Brundle, the ill-fated scientist, gets closer to his tragic fate, it's impossible not to sympathize. Believe it or not, you'll want to hug a man-sized, slimy, grotesque bug by the film's end.
I'm afraid!
Don't be afraid!
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Once again, thanks for watching, and don't forget to let us know your favorite horror film in the comment section below.